Hi everyone, welcome back. This is a continuation of a video of around the golf that I played at the Legacy Golf Club, which is a course here in Phoenix just around the corner from my house. Now, for my first video, I shot 7 over on the front nine, including maybe the best 3-wood of my life on the way to making a birdie. But I also had a lot of trouble on the greens, 3-putting 4 times. Some of them were just because I was on the wrong side of a ridge or had a tough putt. Like with most 3 putts, it was issues with the speed, but my lines weren't that great a lot of times either. And sometimes I couldn't even keep my putts on the screen. So let's see if we can turn it around on the back nine. The first hole on the back nine is the 10th. It's a pretty wide open par 4. Um, It's just on the other side of the range, going the other direction as a ninth hole. So I usually go green ball here just in case I slice it. But this time, I was able to hit a pretty good one, pretty much middle of the fairway. I left myself under 100 yards. This was about 80 yards in for my second. Again, a pretty good one here. A little bit past the hole. This green is really sloped a lot from back to front. So if you're above the hole, it can be a really fast putt. Like this one was just under 30 feet, but I don't think I hit it very hard, but I still ran it about 7 feet past, and so I had to scramble to avoid another 3-putt. And this one I was able to make. On to the 11th. It's the first par 3 on the back nine. There's actually 3 on the back nine, so it plays to a par 35 on the back, which is a little unusual. Now this hole usually plays into the prevailing wind, and there's also a false front that you can see there. And even though the pin was on the back, I didn't hit it quite well. It caught that false front and rolled down. And so I had a tough uphill chip coming up. Tried to bump and run it with a 9-iron because the green does slope a lot from back to front, but it didn't quite release all the way to the hole. I had about just over 10 feet here to try to save par. But yeah, so kind of a misread there, and I would tap in for bogey. On to the 12th. It's a kind of a tricky par 4. The tee shot is over water, which usually doesn't come into play. And the fairways bank in on both sides, so you can miss the fairway on either side and they'll kind of roll a little bit back in, which I did here. Headed towards that bunker, but got a decent kick left and ended up in the middle of the fairway. The approach is what makes this hole quite difficult. It's an elevated green with a steep drop off to the left and then mounding which protects it on the right. And I just kind of flared this one out to the right and had a little awkward little pitch here for my third. Caught it a touch heavy, but it still released out okay, giving me a decent chance to save par. This was just about, I think, about 12 feet down the hill. But I kind of overread the break there. So again, another bogey to tap in. On to the 13th hole. It's a pretty wide open hole. You don't want to miss left because there's houses on the left with the boundary. And the right is pretty open too, as long as you don't hit it too far. There is a waste area if you really get a hold of it. But I ended up just hitting like a little hook down the left-hand side. I didn't make it all the way to the houses, and the mounding kind of brought it back a little bit, but I still had a long way out for my second. Hitting a 6-iron here from over 170 yards. Caught it okay, but again, I flared it out to the right, and it landed in the greenside bunker. Now, this was a pretty tough shot too. Slightly downhill lie. At this point, I'm just trying to get it on the green. Don't want to leave it in the bunker, and was able to do that. Left with about 40 feet here to try to save par, and to be realistic, to try to avoid a 3-putt. But I was able to roll that one in. In fact, the guy One of the guys I was playing with had a pretty similar putt earlier, so I saw it break right at the end, and that's why I was able to kind of read it okay. Anyway, on to the 14th. It's the first par 5 on the back 9. The right side of the fairway is right wide open again, so I reverted to my weaker grip again. Tried to hit my fade slice, but it was a little more right than I had planned, but still not too bad, just to the right of the fairway. For my second, I usually don't go for it. There's a lake that guards the green on the left, so I just laid up, but that wasn't really a good shot. Still in the fairway, about 125 yards out. I thought I hit a pretty decent shot here, but it came up pretty short, and I had this long, about 45-foot putt up a ridge. I hit it probably a touch too hard to make sure I got it over the ridge. It ran about 12 feet past, and so I was trying to save par here and avoid a 3-putt. But yeah, so that's my 5th 3-putt. First on the back 9, and I tap in for bogey here. On to the 15th. This is another par 3. Not very long, usually plays under 130 yards, but there's that lake in the front and also bunkers guarding it. And this was another miss to the left. Kind of been happening since I've strengthened my grip a little bit. So I kind of had this like really awkward chip across the length of the green. I actually hit a pretty good one here. It rolled out okay. Left me about 12 feet to try to save par. But the bad tee shot cost me with another bogey. 16th hole, it's not a very long par 4. There's bunkers that kind of guard it along the right. You can go hybrid here, but I just decided to hit driver and try to carry those bunkers. Hit a straight one, and it was a pretty good one. Had about just inside of 100 yards left for my second. Hitting a sand wedge here. I thought I caught this one pretty good, but this green slopes a lot from back to front, and this one actually spun back off the hill a little bit. And so I had this uphill about 35-footer for birdie, and just complete misread and bad speed. So that hill took it even rolled back a little bit. So now I'm trying to save par from about 7 feet, and I try to hit it extra firm to account for the uphill, and I just ended up pulling it. So another 3-putt. So yeah, I'm looking for some tips for lag putting. Anyways, on to the 17th. It's a long par 3, usually plays into the wind, and it's the longest par 3 on the course. Again, I tugged my shot left again due to probably my stronger grip. Oh, heads up. Sorry. Bladed that chip. It was kind of off a little squirrely lie, and my playing partner in blue kind of overestimated my chipping abilities. The third was a really tough putt, up a mound and then back down it. Couldn't really stop it. So I had about 16 feet here to try to save bogey, and so that was a double. I wouldn't call that necessarily a 3-putt, but I guess it sort of was because I was putting from just off the green. But anyways, the 18th, the last hole on the course, is a par 5. It's not the longest par 5. It's under 500 yards.
There's your shot.
Oh, that's the way to end it.
Yep, that's what you're going to watch right before you go to bed.
It usually plays into the prevailing wind, but it was down today, so I had a reasonable chance to go for the green in 2. And for the second time today, I hit a really good approach on a par 5 with a longer club.
Yeah.
So just off the green here, putting or chipping, I guess, for eagle. Pretty good speed there. Now, I normally don't get more than one birdie around, so went up there and marked it just to make sure. And so I was able to close with the birdie. So overall, 13 over, pretty good day overall for my standards. I got 2 birdies, which is pretty unusual for me, but those 6+ 3 putts really hurt. So yeah, I guess I need to work on my putting a little bit. Still working on the grip a little bit too. Fixing it to a stronger one led to some left misses, which I'm not used to, but overall, pretty good round. As you can see, the course is pretty nice as well, usually in very good condition and also a lot of fun to play. So if you're in the area, or even if you're not, come visit me in Phoenix and we can go play together. Thanks for watching.